Hello AK fans. Today I'm going to do kind of a quick visual inspection looking under the hood on a couple rifles. One of them, the far one, I don't know if you can see it from here, is an Izmash Saiga, and I recently mostly converted it here, just furniture, front parts, just figuring out what to do with the gas block. And closer here, completely unmarked. This isn't a Nodax Spuds receiver. I believe it's actually made by the same company. So same kind of deal, same kind of quality, completely unmarked there. But anyway, it's Parkerized. It's an M74 Century. Just in terms of like talking about it on Facebook and that, I kind of look at this as a beater gun. I've had people tell me, man, you're crazy. You don't want some crap like that. It'll blow up in your hands. It's horrible. And I just kind of want to go look through some of these points here and say, okay, what are we seeing? My understanding of guns is pretty good. My understanding of this platform, I'm new with it. So I'm going to take what I know and just take observations, and certainly welcome comments and thoughts from you guys. We're going to start just kind of going down these receivers from the inside. First, I'm going to look at the rear trunnion, try to get this light right. Okay, this one we're looking at right now is the Saiga. You're going to notice just overall on this, the fit and finish is a million times better. There's no competition. They took this, which and Parkerized, probably over paint in many cases. I don't know. It's probably a good durable finish on the M74, but not much to look at, that's for sure. Anyways, getting back to this rear trunnion, you can see how it's seated, the angle of it, so forth and so on. You can see the shepherd's hooks properly attached. Come right on over, and we're looking at the same thing. We're looking at proper spacing. The rivets on these look good. The rivets all along on this are done properly. I don't see stuff coming loose. Stuff isn't crooked, gaps, things like that. It's, you know, just very similar to what you expect to see on this guy here, made with that logo. So moving up, these both have the Tapco trigger on it. Again, we're looking at virtually the same stuff. You look at the cuts. Are we talking about rough cuts? Are we talking about crooked trunnions that are not sturdy? And then coming all the way up in terms of looking at the chamber. The chamber we're looking at right now is the Saiga, and it's just no comparison. It's chrome lined. It's cold hammer forged. This is a 4140 barrel, which is not bad at all. It works fine for its purpose. It's not chrome lined, but you can see you've got what I call kind of a double stack feed ramp affair on the bullet guide in the M74, where here you have basically just an open slot. So, guessing which one is more forgiving. One thing I wanted to mention too, this rifle right here, the M74, I was having some issues shooting one particular brand of ammo, Red Army Standard. The case would get stuck. And apparently that happens a lot in the American barrels with that particular brand. My guess is it expands a little bit more than the others, but you kind of see why. If I stick this bullet in the chamber carefully, snug like that, okay, it is not wiggling hardly at all, side to side, up and down. It's in there, perfect fit, okay. Take that same bullet on the Saiga, and you'll see, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a lot more wiggle going on. It's a lot easier to imagine that it's going to be more forgiving with some additional expansion. I think that's the name of the tune on that. Looking at gas blocks, I can't really super big time determine if one's really attached or mounted better than the other. They both look like they're on there. I'll note that my rear sight leaf needs some help on the Saiga, and we won't even get into alignment issues on the M74. But anyway, just taking a look, starting from the back at all the things. People say, hey, these guns are going to explode. It's going to be horrible, and it's never going to work. Another thing we wanted to do was just kind of check the crown and see, do you have anything that looks like an issue, any dings on the crown itself, and they both are looking the same. Looking at the bullet test, this is 60 grain wolf. You come down, you can see about how much of that is exposed. This is in the 545 barrel of the Saiga. Same thing now with the M74. You can see it's same amount of bullets showing, so it's definitely not a 5.56 versus 5.45. It's if anything, maybe just a little bit tighter, I've noticed, than this 5.45 on the Saiga. While I'm up here, I'm also going to just look at front sight posts. You can kind of see one versus the other, quality-wise, machining, everything like that. Looks like the Russians got something on the Bulgarians, at least in the case of this one. It's not canted, it's just slanted. It drives me nuts, but I'll get used to it. It's a beater. That's what it's supposed to be. I'd like to also mention that the Saiga came as a rear end converted sporter model done by the RWC group. Just kind of wrapping things up. Basically, we have two rifles set up side by side. I'm going to tell you right now that the one on the left, the Saiga, is more accurate. Even though it has a chrome lined barrel, it's a more accurate rifle so far, and have just sighted in, just kind of started shooting the M74 on the right. Figured out that it, like I said, doesn't like the Red Army ammo. Maybe it will at a later date. Kind of needs broken in probably. But in terms of the overall, just coming in looking at this stuff, I just got to say that I don't think there's any question who makes a better rifle, the Russians. But what I really want to do is shut down the statements are, oh, this build by this guy is shit. The Century's not worth anything. I wouldn't even use it to plank. You're a complete moron. You know, I think statements like that kind of decry moron myself. But anyway, you can take that for what it's worth, but you're looking at the facts. You're looking at the way these are constructed. If you were to put on a blindfold and work the bolt, you wouldn't know the difference. And if you pulled the trigger, you wouldn't know the difference. So hope you enjoyed that little review under the hood. And thanks a lot for looking.